NBC News is now also able to report that a Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict Donald Trump. The New York Times was first to report the Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Donald Trump today. We have not seen the charges, but we have seen the witnesses that have come in and out in these final days and weeks. And in addition to Michael Cohen, who's been very public on his way in and out, there have been some other witnesses that we haven't known as much about. And based on the folks that were in there last, what do you believe this indictment will say and read?
Well, Nicole, obviously this is a monumental, historic importance. I think that we will see at least one, if not more, felony charges against the former president. And we will see, for those people like myself who have been waiting for a long time to see the first step in terms of legal accountability, this is that first step. I do want to say that it is really important to remember, if this reporting is accurate, which all accounts would be that it is, it makes total sense that this would be happening, that one, we are likely to see, I think, other charges in other jurisdictions. Remember, this, by all accounts, is not the most serious thing that's under investigation. And I think it actually can assist other DAs and federal prosecutors in taking the bold step that they need to vindicate the rule of law. And the other thing that I think it's very important for people to remember, that at this point, if Donald Trump is now in a case as a criminal defendant, it is important to remember that he is presumed innocent. And there's, it's fine for us to talk about proof and all of the things, and that's totally responsible. But in a court of law, he is going to be presumed innocent as opposed to the court of public opinion. And there will be a lot of process that he is given, which is also part of our American system of justice. So there won't be a trial anytime soon. But that is something that should be respected, even though people will be anxious to see that happen. I think people should, who wanted to see this day come, just need to understand that's part of the American rule of law, is that defendants are accorded substantial rights, as they should be, in facing those charges and bringing the case to a jury. That's not to take anything away from the incredibly important step that we are seeing today, with the first time that an American president has faced criminal charges. And we join the rest of the world where this is not unusual to see people such as the current head of Israel, who is currently under indictment, where people obey the rule of law. And it's nice to see that America is joining the rest of the community, that we have political leaders who are not above the law and will be held to account in our criminal justice system.